Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy iBeMaine, and today we are checking out this new One Piece game on Roblox, and so it is very common knowledge, or I won't say common knowledge, but very common consensus in the Roblox anime community that iBeMaine overhypes games. That's a lot of people believe that I overhype games. While there's definitely some truth to that I hype up some games for sure. I am definitely one of the prominent members in the community, and I do have my fair share of spreading hype. But for the most part, I only hype up games that I honestly believe have potential, keyword potential, to be a really good game. Now, release is important to games, but honestly, the biggest thing for a game to be successful is that continued support. After release support to a game really changes the game. And a lot of games that I personally hype up may either have great start or rough starts, but it doesn't necessarily have that continued support to keep the game alive. And that's why some of the games that I hype up or say they're going to be good, or I'm hoping to be good, don't turn out to be as good as expected, and they were considered overhyped. Let's look at a couple examples, but let's look at a couple examples of that before I get into this video where we're talking. You guys see the title, we know what we're talking about today. Let's talk about a couple examples. Let's look at one of the biggest examples, prime examples of continued support that actually changed the game and made it one of the most successful games. So I'm pretty sure 90% of the Roblox anime community regards Dragon Ball Final Stand as the best Dragon Ball Z game to ever touch Roblox. Now, I'm pretty sure most people regard that, but it wasn't like that on release. On release, Dragon Ball Z Final Stand, which at its core was still the same game, was a really good game. A lot of people played it, but a lot of people didn't play it. And a lot of people was like, okay, it's a cool game, but it ain't that great. It had some lag, had some issues. It had its issues, but Snake, being the good developer that he is, he put in work into the game, or at least enough work. I don't know how much work, he put enough work to fix the game. And the game really changed in the middle of the first major update. When we got Namek, that's when Final Stand became Final Stand. There's a lot of people playing Final Stand first, but it was only like getting like 3,000-4,000 players, which was good, don't get me wrong. I would love to make a game to get 4,000 players. But Namek is where the game really took off, and everybody and their mama in the anime community was playing Dragon Ball Z Final Stand. It was that game. It was on front page every single day. It started becoming that game with the Namek update. But that wasn't like that on release. That's because Snake put that continued support even in the game. Even though it was getting enough support, but he put that extra work into it, that continued support, the bug fixes, everything that it needs to be that great game. He started off as a good game, but he turned into a great game because he got that continued support. Let's talk about another example that a lot of people love this game, but it didn't get that continued support that it needed, and was iBeMaine. iBeMaine was pretty much an instant success. The first week, it was hitting 10,000 players on the front page. It was the first One Piece game. It was like hitting 15,000 players at times. And while it was getting a lot of support towards the beginning of it, the game ended up getting shut down. Roblox took it down for whatever reason. But does that take away from all the success that it was having? It didn't get that middle support, but does that mean it was overhyped because it got shut down? No, it does not mean it was overhyped, but it didn't get that support that it needed in the middle, so it didn't turn out to be a Final Stand level game. And let's talk about another game that I personally hype that just crashed. For example, My Hero Final Tempest. It was called Final. My Hero Tempest. Hero Academy Tempest. Tempest Hero Academy. Tempest Academy, or something like that. That game, in my personal opinion, I was extremely excited for, but people considered that I overhyped it. I loved that game. That game was amazing to me, but the developer didn't give the game the support it needed. It was laggy, stuff was resetting, there were so many bugs, and instead of fixing everything, he just said, I'm going to delete it. Now, at its core, it was a really good game, and if it got the support that it needed, it would have been an amazing game, but it did not get that. So is that my fault? Is that overhyped, or is that just the developer that just didn't support it well? The game at its core was a really good game, and it had the potential in another developer's hands to probably reach that potential, but it didn't get the support that it needed. And this is all leading up to the topic that I want to talk about today, is a potential game, a game that has potential to be a really good One Piece game, if it gets the support that it needs, and if it gets the solid effort of the second update that it's going to have. So today we're going to be talking about One Piece final chapter. Now, when this game first came out, I was on a hype train for this game. This game, at its core, like when I first saw it, I was like, dang, this game's some type of crazy. You know, I was extremely excited for this game, and I was like, but this game gonna be fire. That's the only thing I was actually blown away. Coming from, I think it's like right at the time Final Stand was getting its peak, and to get something like this, I was like, yo, this is going to be the final stand of One Piece games, and I was extremely excited for it. So you got this cinematic cutscene that started off all kind of crazy and everything, and then you went into like the character customization, and I was like, yo, this crazy. You had like, you could choose between like pirate, marine, bounty. You could be a human, fishman, cyborg, and all these things affected your stats and affected your gameplay. You had like these starter weapons. You can be like start with fish. You can start with wasn't necessarily black label. You started with like, you know, foot combat. You can be a sword. You can be a single swordsman or a dual swordsman, and then you also had like subclasses as well, where you can be like you can be a shipwright, you can be a navigator, you can be a chef, a musician, you can be the team doctor, and these all gave you different abilities in the game. And then you went on to roll for like a special ability. You had like a special ability that you could roll for that also affect the gameplay. So you can get like, for example, you can get like Zoro's Busho Haki. You can get like Virgo's. You can get vitality type buff. You can get like a luck type buff. You can get like Luffy's Kenbu, Luffy's Hayo, and then you can get Nail's Kenbuso. It was all Ken Haki, I call it Ken Buso. Ken Haki, all type of things that you can spin for and get that another element to your game. And everything had these skill trees, and everything was just really well made. And then you had like this. I remember when you got into the game, you had like these elements of like crates that you can open and get like new weapons and different types, and everything had a skill tree that you had to level up. It was just really, it was, the core of the game was amazing, and I think in my personal opinion, I had every right to be hyped for it, because looking at it and just reading about it was like, dang, this has potential to be really good, but it lacked in some areas. It definitely lacked in some areas. For example, the combat was super lacking. But that could have been improved, but it didn't get improved at the time. The combat was pretty lacking. The combat was lackluster. Even though it had all these elements of cool moves, overall the combat was lackluster and less flashy. But those things that could have been updated over time and changed over time. Also, the content in the game was super stale and super dry, compared to something like, you know, even something like Steve One Piece had like at least a couple different missions, a couple different enemies to fight. This game really didn't have anything, and it was like, for example, you had like the first area that you fight like some bandits, and then you had like the second, you had like 3 areas. You had like the starter area, you had some bandits on another island, and then you had fishmen. That was the only thing to grind, and that was a really stale way of leveling, a super stale way of leveling, so it really drove all people. Also, devil fruits, not only were they rare to get, which is actually fine in my personal opinion, devil fruits being rare are fine, but they were actually trash. The devil fruits were actually really bad. You cannot have a One Piece game with trash devil fruits. That's not gonna fly. You have to put some effort into your devil fruits. They have to be kind of flashy. They don't have to be overpowered, but they have to look good. And it didn't look good. It didn't look good. But the moves looked really good and stuff like that. But the combat was just lacking. So that's what was lackluster in the game. But now the game is getting reworked. It's been getting reworked for a while. I don't know exactly how long the game has been reworked, but right now, if you go take a look at the game page, it is at 88% done. So you think like, oh man, this is coming out real soon. My guess would be sometime next or this month in March. I'd probably say towards the end of March, we'll probably see this game actually coming out. So like 2 weeks ago, it was at about like 78%. So in about 2 weeks, it went 10%. So I assume in another 2 weeks, we'll start nearing it, and probably about another week of finalize. So I say about 3 weeks, we'll probably be seeing One Piece final chapter blessing the Roblox front page again. Now, if done correctly, this game can be actually pretty amazing. If the combat is revamped, if the combat needs a really good revamp. The enemies, if it is going to be a grind where you got to kill enemies, we want to see different types of enemies. We want a mission board, we want some bosses, we got to have that in the game. It got to be a must. More variety is nice. It gotta be some more, it gotta be some more there. You can't just have those 3. You gotta have some bosses or something, if that's the way, that's gonna be the only way to level. Also the like I said, the combat, but like Devil Fruits gotta be better. It's part of the combat, but Devil Fruits got to be better. They gotta be better. Now this one wasn't me, but when I was talking to my boy Ethereal, he was saying that the shipwright, like you can roll it like for shipwright, you can be like a magician. He said those were lackluster. Now I really never really used those, so I can't speak on personal experience or how it actually was, but I'm just gonna take his word for it. He said like your subclass, that needed like some more work to it. So I'm just gonna take his word, his opinion, even though he'd be a little extra with stuff, he'd be a little wild with stuff, I'm gonna take his word. So I must, throw that little question mark about this, but that needs to be improved as well. Let me know what you guys think. Am I capping? Let me know if I'm capping. I personally don't think I'm capping. I personally think this game was solid. I think this was a really good game. And I think with the right revamp, this game could really change. Even with the oversaturated market of One Piece games right now, I really think this game can be pretty fresh, pretty nice. And this is my personal opinion. You guys gotta realize I be hyping the game, but this be my personal opinion. I honestly really like this game. I just didn't like the grind. The grind was not fun, and I also want a more community aspect. So if I'm a Marine, I want to be able to lock people up. I want to be able to lock pirates up. I think One Piece Burning Legacy had that, and I've been wanting that again in the game. Make sure those have a nice core aspect. Make sure it's a community aspect. For example, if we look at something like World Peace is just a grinder. You don't have any community aspects in it, which I think is a little bland in my personal opinion. I want some community aspect in the game, something that gives me replayability. That's that fun factor that you can replay and do with your friends and stuff like that. We definitely need it. So let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see One Piece? Are you going to give this game another chance? Are you like, man, I'm tired of these One Piece games. I tried the game when it came out. It was like, yeah, I ain't feeling that. Or are you excited for the possible chance that this game can be revamped to something special? Because I personally think it had the core groundwork to be something really good. But once again, that's my personal opinion. That's why I want to hear you guys' opinion. I personally think that could be a great game. I think it has the potential. Not that it will, but it has the potential to be something really fun for the community that you guys could enjoy, that I could enjoy, that we can enjoy together. Does not say that it will, but it has the potential. You see where I'm going there? Not that it is, the potential. That being said, let me know your guys' opinion down in the comment section. Other than that, I'm gonna catch you guys later. Today has been your boy iBeMaine. I'm signing out. Peace.